playoffs start yet?
They did not. We are lucky, Connor is here. He doesn't know what teams are playing for which conference, when the playoffs are, but he gives
It's
excellent
a
advice.
I obviously do. I just don't know the conference.
We called it. Connor Lucas, Ken Call. This is after being all structured last week. It's very up in the air, the way Connor likes it and demanded it mid-show if you weren't listening last week.
Listen this week. That's the whole point. There you go. Cut you off.
On to Cincinnati. All right. Comments from last week. The only one we really have is Mike Schilling was right. That is a signed Minnesota Vikings helmet, courtesy of Ken Call behind me. Justin Jefferson and Randy Moss are on that helmet.
Dual signed.
Yeah.
And
it's
Justin
going in
Jefferson,
my retirement.
The wide receiver too?
All right,
I couldn't get
McCarthy.
TJ Hawkinson, man. I'm sorry.
I'm saying wide receiver too. He's no longer a one
know.
because Brosmer's his quarterback.
No, because dude, 9 is terrible. Hey, that team finished 9-8. Never forget. Favorite stat for the rest of ever. All right,
I think that just shows you how good Brian Flores is, man. I mean, he kept him in every game.
They went 9-8 with the statistically worst quarterback in the NFL of the last decade.
Don't you disrespect Shador. He is down there.
Yeah, he was pretty bad too. But he doesn't have enough games played to be considered.
Speaking of Brian Flores, we will start off before we get to the playoff matchups talks. Who cares about that? We really care about is coaches getting fired and who's going to take their jobs. I think we got 5 openings right now. Raiders, Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, Titans. I have it. If you guys were listening, I listed off 5. I need the last 2.
Fine. Start over.
We'll Giants. All right, here we go. We'll do it again. I'll clip a part where I did it once. Just kidding. Just to prove that you guys are paying my ass, I'm going to do it again. We have Raiders, Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, Titans, Giants. What am I missing?
Falcons.
Oh my gosh. So many good teams. That's just, I guess, not so many good teams.
You said the Ravens, right?
The Ravens and the Falcons. Too many good teams. That's 2. Cut their coaches. All right. So, hot guys to be on the coaching chart.
Wait a minute. Do it. Hot guys. That's what we're going to label.
I was going to do hot coaches being interviewed right now. I said hot guys instead.
We're going to
my gosh. This is the kind of intense stuff we have when I'm back at work.
How is Aaron Glenn does he still have a job today?
He coaches for the Jets, and I think the problem is they have so much guaranteed money going to other head coaches that
you think it's the finance thing?
Yeah, I think he's I just don't want to pay another guy.
So does the Raiders, and they're the least cash-rich NFL franchise.
Yeah,
you know
what?
I know that. I don't know. Gruden.
Yeah, they're interesting.
Yeah,
Jets are cheaper then. I don't get it. All right, New York's more expensive to live in.
Glenn is an awful coach.
Not only did he, tank the Jets, he made their defense the worst that I've ever. They had no interceptions. They didn't accidentally catch a ball. Sauce Gardner for half a year.
Not one random tipped one where a linebacker picks it up or anything. Nothing.
This is where the other part where he should also get in trouble for the idea of a soft tank. It wasn't even a soft tank. There's no universe where Brady Cook should have been starting. And you can say whatever you want about giving him a look. Phil, you had his statistical analysis, his basically his R-squared value. It was the worst R-squared statistical value possible. And for those who don't know what that means, it's literally the mean is this. He is so far below the mean, he's negative. It's plus
I got
one,
a chart for this.
One, and he's closer to -1.
Guys, I got a chart for this. You just wait. It's going to take me an hour to find.
Good.
But again, I'm saying he's a guy that we're starting this off by who should be the new coaches. He should also never be another coach. By the way, I did not think he was a very good coach anyways. Statistically, the Lions were middle of the pack in that division last year. Their offense was great. The only reason he got it kudos was, hey man, he kept them together with all those injuries. That's your reason for hiring a coach?
I completely agree. I was very surprised when I heard he was a hot coaching candidate last year. Anyways, I found the chart very quickly. If you guys can't see Brady Cook, it's because he's so far off the page that it's not showing up on the screen.
My goodness.
I used to screenshot this and send this to the group, to the family group chat, and be hey, look at Browns Island, Dylan Gabriel, Sajor Sanders out here. Brady Cook had to break the graph, so that's not even true anymore.
There's
So
9.
anyways,
There he is.
there is like I
Where's that?
completely
Oh.
agree. I completely agree though, where I get tanking, but you have to be at least respectable in trying to win. The Packers were atrocious in what they did last week, and it drove me crazy. So I don't know. If you're not, you can play backups, but like give your best, man. Make it better than a pickup basketball game on a Sunday morning.
They just got like weeks in a row, just blown out after blown out after blown out. It was so bad. Anyways, all right, now on to who's actually needing a head coach and who will get them. Let's
All right,
do.
so should
Are you
we
gonna?
go by team or go by coach? Because I think coaches going places is more interesting.
And are you talking about who is going to fill those, or why that coach left?
I want to know who's going to fill them. We're all about filling
Right.
here.
Hey, family show. Better cut that.
We talk
later
about
this-
gambling. How can it be gambling if like gambling
Yeah,
slash?
you're right. And
Yeah.
NSFW. That's what the kids say. Ken, do you know what that means?
No, they say
Not
6-7,
stay
baby.
for work, not stay to hospital.
All right. So filling. Let's see. I'm curious, Connor. Where do you think Harbaugh is going to go? That is the most
That was
interesting, hottest topic because
crazy to me
I
today.
think it. So real quick before we get into like details of that, Harbaugh's a phenomenal coach. I don't think he's a great schemer on either side of the ball. I think he needs good coaches around him, but I think he's good at culture building, finding the right players, this and that, finding good coordinators in general. So I don't like the risk. Obviously, Browns fan. Do I want him on the Browns? Yes, I think he could build a good culture, but no, he's the guy that we're going to bring in, and our OC and DC are going to cycle in and out every year. So starting off there.
I think we talked about this, but like a couple of weeks ago, maybe not the specifics, but it was just talking about guys that are failing right now. Worst years for Mike Tomlin. Well, Mike Tomlin's 500 at best. So let's just say he's perpetually in this group. Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Dan Campbell, and people that were cut, right? Carroll, Aaron Glenn. Those guys overall are not X's and O's guys. They're motivators, they're culture builders, they're team whatever. Those guys, like, this is where this is like AI versus Ken's job. We're going to have human robots soon. Ken is a human person, and AI is catching up and will eventually. Those are the Liam Cohens and the Kyle Shanahans and the schemers that are become. Oh, Ben Johnson, that's AI. Okay, so that's how I would compare it to. Those guys, in my mind, they're a dying breed. And I think you're seeing it now because Dan Campbell lost Ben Johnson 500. John Harbaugh all of a sudden went through an archaic offense with Todd Monken. Monken was great last year, but he decided that, hey, I'm going to stick to the crappy offensive line because I drafted those guys and I can out-culture them. I think that era is dying. And so I think Harbaugh is going to have to go to a patient organization, whatever that means. And he better be darn sure that he can get a coordinator. And I don't know what coordinator has he chosen well that was great. Monken, you could say yes, but I
would go over and look at Seattle where Mike McDonald was his D coordinator.
Yeah, Mike McDonald was the guy.
Yeah, but again, I'm saying that's what I'm saying is he's going to have to pick up those guys because he himself clearly lost Mike McDonald, and Monken totally regressed this year, and you saw him get exposed.
Ken, what are you thinking?
So, I mean, yeah, it's the same. It's Mike McDaniel. It's when I think of AI, Mike McDaniels is like the perfect
one.
one.
That metaphor. I knew it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
But like Daniels or McDonald, we got to be clear.
True.
McDaniels.
True.
Versus Dan Campbell. I said as soon as Dan Campbell started calling plays in Detroit, their entire offense, it didn't look bad, but it was just it was different. And you're just like clearly like, this is not Ben Johnson out there. And I think that, some of those, work. Ben Johnson, like he does, he has some emotion out there, but the computer, like just a straight like textbook guys, I think there's just a little bit of like respect that football players just don't like have for these like Poindexter types, and it takes a long time to get that, so not everybody can be Kyle Shanahan, and even then, like there was still a lot of people, even though he's still winning like early in his career with the 49ers, it took a while for him to really get respected like around the league as like one of the like top coaches. So for example, if you go to a losing organization, and you're spot on, like you can't wait for Harbaugh because it's like, hey, you're trying to build this and they're just not patient enough. look at it. This kind of goes back to a similar conversation we had where quarterbacks just get ran through these organizations and you're not giving them the time to develop. It's because there's a lot of pressure on them right away. And these losing cultures don't want to continue losing. And that's how they go through. There's poor the poor culture teams. They're really more like last stop places for these like long-term, solid coaches more so than building blocks. And Pete Carroll that was a bad pick to start. Dude's a million years old.
They
But
picked Chip Kelly. Great.
he was gone in a year. A year, but like he was dead in the water at like week 13. So
it's so funny because I think I'm on the opposite boat where I want the culture guy at the bad teams, and like the Falcons and the Ravens where they're like, they got it. They have the culture. They have everything. They just need some lighter fluid to get them to explode.
To be fair to Ken, if we could wind that back, he said impatient teams, right? And so let's start there because everybody's bad. Everybody who needs a head coach is bad. But what kind of what places are
Falcons and Ravens are great jobs. Like I don't think Stefanski is a good culture builder. I think Stefanski is a great fit for the Falcons. I think they have everything they need, and he can be the lighter fluids to that offense to make it explode.
I would take Harbaugh over Stefanski in Atlanta.
That's so funny because I'm over here with I want Harbaugh in Tennessee, where it's like it's a mess. They need players, and he can raise the floor of their players and make Cam Ward start to look viable and just reconstruct what they have. I think of him as like doing the Vrabel thing there.
But who would his offensive coordinator be?
I think it's just in general he can get bad football players to be below average or average. And that's what I think they need more than the Falcons need that.
But I don't think that comes quick. I really don't. I think that like takes some time to build. Vrabel did it quickly.
You think the Titans would be patient enough?
That's a hard part.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. See,
I would say in my mind, Atlanta is more patient. He gave Raheem Morris a second shot. He had not only 3 years, these past 3 years, he had what, 2 before this? They gave him 5 years. We're talking about patience. Arthur Blank was actually patient.
I forgot he had Arthur Smith. He doesn't watch football.
But I would say that in my mind, like Terry Fontenot was more for all the crap that he just made some really bad bets, but he did draft Pitts, Bijan, London, and then I think he has a couple all-pro defensive guys that he brought in.
The defense is like the youngest in the league and started to look good.
Oh yeah, both of his hits this year, he traded away to get a quarterback, and then quarterback who had 2 blown out knees blew out his knee again, so that was stupid. But he did get James Pierce and the other guy, the other defensive end.
Cornerback.
They had 2 defensive ends that are going to have 10 more sacks this year. So that cupboard is not bare. And then A.J. Terrell is an all-pro corner, which is who Ken's talking about.
They had a really good rookie DB as well.
Did they?
Yeah. He had like 4.5 interceptions. Yeah, someone. But I
he
can't
was a
remember.
safety. He was a safety.
Yeah,
That's right.
safety.
Yeah, he was a safety. All I'm saying is I would rather have Harbaugh in Atlanta so you guys can have Harbaugh in Tennessee. That's fine. I would rather have Harbaugh there.
I mean, don't throw Ken in with me. I think he sounded more like you when he was making the picks, and so I just think Harbaugh on a worse team gets them closer to 9-8 than he does taking a team from 9-8 to 12-5, 12-5.
All right, so let me throw this out rather than go down the list. Which guy that you would put in those positions? We just heard of the open positions. Which guy who could either be recycled or I'm thinking Robert Saleh or Vance Joseph or somebody who's been a head coach before that was just like is deserving of a second chance that had a really bad quarterback, aka Robert Saleh or Vance Joseph. I don't even remember who was he. Was he the Broncos head coach at one point?
He was.
Or was he the Cardinals head coach?
Broncos head coach.
He came back from the Cardinals, or he's at the Cardinals. No, he came back from the Cardinals to go back to the Broncos. In my mind, are there guys that you're there like, okay, put him in a position with a quarterback, maybe he'll be better, which would be like Tennessee.
Fundamentally, I would rather take risks on a new guy than bet on an old one. Like that's just
one.
Yeah, I like Clint Kubiak. If I'm, Browns, Cardinals, Giants, I'm calling and I'm being like Clint Kubiak. Here's a giant pile of money because I think you could be the next guy to make my offense go from 0 to 100 just like that.
You're
So
looking for Sean McVay. You're looking for Sean McVay 2.0.
I would agree. In my mind, like I've always been on that end, which is if you're not in terms of like subsector of AI, like you need to be like the fastest in offense. You got to be there first, right? In offense, you got to be there first. You got to shoot like there's a billion tech companies out there that are doing AI. You got to find the next Chat GPT and then put him in and offer him a boatload of money.
As I look through these teams, the Browns are going to try to microwave their team. They should not get coach that's fast. Ken, we really got to hear from you on this. We keep interrupting you. Sorry. But the Browns are going to try to microwave their team. They're going to try to be like, we have a good defense. I think we have the pieces on offense. We're going to draft these players. We'll spend some money and we have Deshaun. But after he's gone, like we need next year, we got to be able to win a Super Bowl. And that's just way too fast. So I think they're going to do something stupid. Like Mike McCarthy is one name, obviously. I don't think they actually will hire him, but that's the stupid thing they would do. To your point, Connor, the guys you mentioned, those guys that were like defensive minded that maybe like I think Saleh built a solid culture for the Jets and he did a solid job with their defense. It just never worked out offensively. He's a guy that if my organization's willing to be patient, like I'd like him at the Raiders. They got pieces. They're going to have the quarterback. They're going to have the running back, the tight end. I'll let him come in and try to build it up. Like I think that's one that could fit well.
Well, I want to get your guys' perspective on the Raiders because I made the argument that, hey, the Raiders is actually a pretty nice landing spot. You got the number 1 pick. But then you got Max Crosby. He's pretty it's hard to find an elite defensive end. Then Genty and Brock Bowers. Then you look through and then the other side of that argument is you have a first-round pick. Who knows what you're really going to put around them? And then running back and tight end are 2 of the most replaceable. Yes, those guys are great, but those are 2 of the more easily found pieces. I mean, just around. And Genty didn't necessarily prove himself, but I think that's more situational than anything. But I want to get your perspective. Just when it comes to talent, it's hey, they have some stuff, they have some money, and they're in Vegas, which is pretty cool. What are your
I don't
guys'
think
thoughts?
they have any ability to draft outside the first round, and I don't think they are patient. I don't think they scout and they draft. I like nothing about that organization. It functions well. I don't think it's a good job for that reason.
I don't even know like who is their GM. They fired.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a fixable error there? Just the lack of
here's the other
drafting?
thing. I personally, I'm on the other side. So it's weird that Phil is disagreeing with me a lot today because, well,
I don't think it's weird that we disagree in general because I'm always right and, someone's got to debate it.
Okay, so there's people who are right and then there's people who are wrong, and I'm apparently always on the wrong side.
I'm just kidding. I was watching an interview, the Max Kellerman, why he got kicked off of First Take, and he's like, could you imagine debating me every day? Your life would be miserable. And I'm like, I watch those shows.
I think he was joking. I honestly think he was being sarcastic.
Everyone would be like, yes, anyone with a pulse, please come debate this guy.
No, so in that, we're not going to talk about Max Kellerman, but in that he did say, he's like, I was forced to take the bad side of arguments because
for sure, there's no doubt in my mind that
but then he's like I did a great job defending those. I'm like, you didn't. It's like it was not great. Anyways, back to the Raiders.
Real quick, Raiders GM John Spytek, and he joined last year in 2025. He has 1 year.
I'll give him a chance because but in my mind, I actually am more favorable with the Raiders because Genty had the worst. I think he had I don't know the stat, Phil. It's like how much yards before contact that you have in the back, by far and away, like way worse than everybody else.
I think the funny one is like he had the most missed tackles forced like ever behind the line of scrimmage.
Correct.
That's the worst stat I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's so sad.
Legit. Brock Bowers is an all world. Like, Brock Bowers is going to be him and Loveland and
Warren, Tyler Warren.
Warren, those guys are going to break records for years to come. I actually think if they get the quarterback and if they got like a Kubiak to go there, oh man. Like, I think that guy could work with a bunch of those guys. But I just don't know if they can. And yes, here's my thoughts. This is crazy. If that's a Harbaugh, you sell Crosby and get
2 first-round
picks, 2 firsts, and you go into 26 and 27 and you go. That's my mind. Because your best bet is to be 6 and 10 next year and be a top 10 pick with a bunch of other picks. That's my thought. But I
So-
see Phil over there once again.
I think you get one
wagging
first
his
rounder.
finger.
I think you get one first rounder for Max Crosby. He's 29. So
Entering his prime. Love it.
What? Miles Garrett is 30. What would you say that about Mr. Brown, Homer? Would you say
if you would need to probably trade 2 or 3 full drafts for that guy who broke the sack record, all right?
By the way, one of my buddies, right before the beginning of the year, or it was right before the draft, I was like, okay, right now, would you trade Miles Garrett for the first overall pick or the second overall pick? And I was like, he goes, well, that's Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, for sure I would.
we got it both, actually. We have both of them.
And then the draft happens and then this, and I was like, he's like, I still would. I still think that, quarterbacks, the potential for a franchise quarterback is just more important. And I was like, dude, shut up.
But
Just
this is
stop
what
it.
the other part.
You just don't want to say I'm wrong.
But the Raiders have a ridiculous amount of cap space going into 26. They have
They have 100 million. Yeah.
million in cap space.
So Connor, 7. Let's boil this down.
Here's what I'm saying. If you sold Max and you got picks, I wouldn't necessarily say it's an immediate tank. If you feel convicted about Mendoza or more, probably Mendoza, I would go ahead and use that. Flip those guys for somebody like here. Here's what I would do. I would send them to Chicago. Chicago has a defensive line need, and I'd pick up DJ Moore and a first. Let's call it
DJ Moore just getting thrown around in these trades.
He's clearly about to get tossed from there anyways. And then I would go in, I would sign some big free agents. I think I'm trying to remember the rest of the free agent pool this year. RB is stacked. They don't need one. So
that's after the Super Bowl. That's when you care about that one.
That's a problem for future Connor.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
So, all right. Just real quick, Connor, 1 to 7. How good is that Raiders job? There's 7 jobs available if you didn't know.
There is 7 jobs available. Let me pull them up real fast because I forget what you said already.
I can share my screen. I'll zoom in on this list so that it doesn't get confusing.
Look, I think it's a 3. I think it's number 3.
3?
3? All right. That's not bad. All right, cool. Because I think after like
I wasn't
going to
put it 1. Look, like Ken was saying,
I'm curious.
The option to have Lamar Jackson, that's probably going to be number 1.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Prior to the whole Harbaugh thing today, I actually had the Raiders as my number 1 spot available.
Well, because think about it.
A lot of it's the salary cap too.
The way that I'll
the
look
number
at
1
it
pick
is like
a lot of
priority. In terms of priority, from what I have, number 1 that trumps everything else is: do you or do you not have a quarterback? And that is like 50% of the decision of whether or not that's a good job to go to. By far and away, you have to. I would say it's like 40% of your decision right there. And if it's
so you're in on Mendoza because I think Mendoza's locked into one.
I'm in on. I actually think
27's
QB draft is probably going to be better. I know that guy. I know those guys. You don't, but I would say for this year, if you're needing it, I would say absolutely. It's probably.
Well, it's the Raiders. They have the first overall pick. They're taking a quarterback.
Used to think. I think Dante Moore, kid from Oregon, is better. He's much more raw. His upside is way higher than Mendoza, but Mendoza's ready to go right now.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to pivot over and say you guys are over here hyping a team and you're saying we need a quarterback. And I have a quarterback, I have a running back, and I have a wide receiver, and I have a good defensive line. Why aren't you hyping up the Giants?
I know you're going to say the Giants. I knew you were going to say the
Giants. Why do you hate the Giants so much? I think they're in a winnable division. The Commanders don't look dominant. The Eagles are flopping. Cowboys up and down. Seems like a good place to be.
Outside of Jackson Dart playing, who did he just play? The Commanders or something?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody he just blew up. Go look at his first 5 games and then his last 5 games.
It was terrible. There was a significant drop.
But I will say he does get Neighbors. Now, Ken, this is a good segue. Neighbors is going to start out in the Brandon Ayuk view. I'm serious. So I saw a bunch of guys talking about this today, which was Neighbors 10 weeks removed from his ACL surgery is still in one of those. I don't know what kind of brace it is, but it's one that doesn't allow it to move and it doesn't hinge very well. And he was on a single crutch. And of course, the Twitter doctors were like, red flag, red flag, red flag, because he's 10 weeks removed from an ACL surgery. And they're like, why are you still on a crutch? He said, I had a lot messed up, meaning there was something else going on there more than an ACL.
So, yes. And that's something that you could see it from the actual injury. It was a multi-ligament injury. It was not
Okay.
just an ACL.
Not a clean ACL. Okay.
Yeah. So most likely, so ACL, MCL, meniscus kind of go together. The name for that was an unhappy triad of all things. Just tell you, not necessarily what you want to hear, but think more a less severe but closer to Javonte Williams injury. Pretty
Okay.
rough one. That one was also rough because he'd already injured it prior to. But no, I mean the difference is this a 9-month and 9-month injury plus 3-month like ramp up, or are we talking like 12 to 16 months?
What they
And
were saying
yeah.
was speculating was, this now means it's going to be at least a year from the injury, which would have been week 3 or whatever. So he's going to start off on the pup.
I think it's hard to say, right now, because some people do it. Like Diggs tore his ACL and then was like, hey, week 1, out there doing just fine. If I had to err, I would say he's closer to like the Ayuk's not really the best example either, because he tore what is the second or third last week of the season last year. But
he tore a lot of things in there.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
So you're looking at most likely pup to start off and a ramp up period. It's not going to be pretty, but also I mean, this is going to be his 3rd year. He has proven that he can be a 1A receiver in this league. So there is no rushing him back to a team unless they are, playoff.
He got drafted when he was 21, just turned 21. He's 22 right now.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the one. You sit him out the extra 6 weeks. Yes.
I will say I hyped up all those players for the Giants. Outside of players that you know the names of, they might have one of the worst rosters in the NFL.
It's just weird.
The other thing is
their guys, like, just the other ones, they're just terrible. They're so bad.
They got 4 first rounders on their like D line. It's crazy.
They do. And then you look at their receiving core. You look at their receiving core, and it's similar to the Browns, where it's like, hey, give me a random name generator first and last, and I'm probably going to hit it.
They have such a big need. They think I don't even know what they're going to do. They could go offense or defense in the first round. But they do have what you think might be a quarterback, so that gives them a bump. They have a hurt wide receiver. They got early draft pick. I don't know, man. These are all just like corpses of friggin' like they're the bottom feeders of the NFL, so they're perpetually bad.
So I'm surprised that Connor's not mentioning how Wan'Dale Robinson is a wide receiver 1 out there.
I have had that argument for a long time with my other friends, and we had a guy who basically said he's better than Justin Jefferson, and I was like, okay, that's a little blasphemous, but I love the little man. Okay, he's supposed to get paid too. Supposedly, he's up for a contract. I'm curious to know what they're going to do with him. That will tell you a lot about guys like Josh Downs. It'll tell you a lot about guys like Kevon Turpin. It's going to tell you a lot about those guys that are like overproduced for what they have. But like when the time comes when you're supposed to pay them, I just don't know if they're going to get paid.
I don't think Turpin's done anything to remotely say, oh, he deserves the bag.
Got 2,000-yard receiver seasons, I think, in a row.
No, Kevontae Turpin is
done.
I thought you said Wan'Dale's got, I think, he's got another 1,000 yards this year.
No, Wan'Dale Robinson, he is like that guy of empty calories, and I hate to say that, but when I watch him play, he's like in that game where they're down 30-13, and he has 10 catches for 120 yards.
No, 10 catches for 50. Hitch, out.
No.
Unless Jameis is playing out there, man.
Go route.
Dude, then he busted out one go route for 70 yards.
I don't know. That's a tough one. A tough one.
I have the Giants lower. I don't think they've proved that much, except for that big part. Hey, they have a maybe quarterback, and that's important.
Yep. All right. Does John Harbaugh fit here, or Jim? Whoever the Harbaugh is.
I would say better than somewhere like I would rather have him here than Tennessee in my mind.
How do you guys feel about him just being like, hey, I'm out this year because there's one position that's worth my time, and it's the Ravens, and they didn't want me.
And they just said, dude, no.
I can coach the Lions next year.
I mean, say what team could have a disappointing exit in the playoffs and be like, nope, Harbaugh's out there, so maybe we can go and get this Harbaugh.
I heard rumblings that the
Ooh.
Jets were going to do that.
No,
The Jets, no,
I
thank
heard
you.
rumblings that
the
that
Packers.
they want.
The
The Jets
Packers
can
are the
want
team.
whatever they want. I don't care. He's not going there.
I actually was hoping. I was hoping that McDaniels got fired and Harbaugh stayed, so that McDaniels could go be Lamar's QB or offensive coordinator at the Ravens, but that didn't happen. I was upset.
Dude, I can't remember who was rumored to the. Oh, Cliff Kingsbury had rumors of connections to the Ravens, and I saw a fantasy football guy of like, dude, this team is going to go 6-11, but I would love to see Lamar put up like 2,000 yards rushing and 4,000 passing.
Because Kingsbury, like the rumors were today that he just couldn't get along with Dan Quinn because he wanted to be like a run first offense, and apparently like Dan Quinn wanted to be a pass first offense, or he wanted to evolve, and they were like, no, you can't do that. I didn't like Kingsbury's offense this past year at all.
No,
They didn't have Daniels, and everyone was hurt.
Yeah, I mean everybody got hurt. Yeah, Eckler, McLaurin, people was always playing kind of hurt, and then Daniels
Still
just gets
showed
hurt.
up.
Yeah.
How did we get down this rabbit hole?
Well,
Man.
we were talking about coordinators and stuff like that, but we did
Harbaugh going to the Giants, maybe.
Harbaugh going to the Giants, maybe, is how we started.
Does
Harbaugh can't be the answer for
your
everyone, so we have to figure out other fits.
Oh, wait a minute, Ken. To answer your question, who could tank this playoff and then go get Harbaugh? Green Bay Packers. I've seen reports that LaFleur is on the edge of being out. I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah, but
Why?
it's like if they get blown out by the Bears, I could see them dumping LaFleur and going to get Harbaugh. Probably because Harbaugh's out there. And
They're not going to get blown out by the Bears.
I know,
They're
no one
definitely
ever
not.
will. I'm not saying they will.
1-1.
I'm saying if. They're 1-1, and the Packers lost because of a missed onside kick.
Ooh, I saw this crazy stat today about, we're going to go into players. Caleb Williams, he has like something crazy. He's going to have like 4,000 yards or almost 4,000 yards this year.
Almost 4,000.
But he has only like 1,900 air yards. So it was basically saying 50% of his yards this year, more than 50, came from Yak, which is Ben Johnson and not Caleb.
Who was the offensive coordinator a couple years ago for the Bears who did that exact same thing? I can't remember his name, but it was
Was it Nagy?
No, what?
Not Shane Waldron. I hope
No,
not.
it wasn't Waldron. It was whoever they brought in.
Was it Matt
I
Nagy?
think it was. No, it wasn't Nagy. It was in between the two. And I just remember because he went to the Raiders as the OC right after, and we were laughing about it because he just threw bubble screen left, bubble screen right, play after play. Anyways,
I don't remember, but the point was that it's just another coaching. Is your coach more important than your QB? The answer was emphatically yes.
So I think I missed something this year where people think that Caleb Williams is good. They won games. They really were very run heavy.
All right, so here's my take. We're going to get off this for a minute because this is my take on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams didn't lose them games this year, and that is a huge win for the Bears. And so, you know who lost? The Browns got lost by their quarterback. Lost them a lot of games this year. Okay.
yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, the quarterback for the Vikings lost them a lot of games this year.
I know,
Carson
your bar is
Wentz
so
even.
low, man. We're talking about people who like probably shouldn't have a job next year.
I'm just saying, like, the reason is being propped up is because he didn't lose them games this year, and he just didn't wreck the car. And that's why we're looking at him going, he's a franchise. Now, he's also a freak athlete, which we already know, but I reserve the right for him to be Trevor Lawrence, which is take 5 years before he's actually like an all-pro caliber quarterback.
Get some polish on him.
Yeah.
So the argument that I heard was from last year's or from that draft class, there's still like, yeah, Caleb Williams was the number one pick, and I still agree with that. And I'm like, Drake May is a top MVP candidate.
There's a
Jaden
legit
Daniels was incredible.
dude. There's probably people that would say give me Bo Nix over Caleb Williams. I am
Bo
not one of
Nix?
them. I
I'm
think
not
it's
one
a
of them,
lot.
but-
I think
No.
it's a lot closer of an argument than people would anticipate. Than the people
But
who say
point-
he's number one.
Like,
Like
I heard like, and that was not the consensus, but pretty close was, yeah, Caleb Williams, if you redrafted, he would still be the number one. And I'm like, I'm missing something. I don't
Can you
know
guys
what.
imagine? Can you guys imagine Drake May in a Ben Johnson offense? They might win every game. I'm not sure.
Do you see those deep balls
take
sailing
Jaden
over
Daniels.
Bears' heads? Those are dimes.
Or the layups, as we call them, the 10-yard crossers that he's just sailing over people's heads because he wants to sidearm it because he's funny. Because I got pink nails.
Bears OC that we couldn't remember the name of, Luke Getsy.
I guess. Also terrible. Also awful.
All right. I feel like Cardinals and Browns are the only teams we haven't really talked about much, which is ironic for us. I'm trying to avoid the Browns besides the statement that they're going to microwave it and screw it up. They're going to get someone who they think is the guy, proven experience, and it's just not going to work.
All right. So the only thing I'll say about the Browns, this is so funny because I think they have been like, I don't know if this is true, but I don't know if there's empirical evidence to figure this out, but I feel like they're like the last ones to like pick someone and all the good candidates are already gone. Like, so I feel like I'm hoping that they just pick first. They go and get their guy, whoever that is, just go quick and get him before anybody else does. The problem is it's going to be somebody that nobody wanted. And they're going to be like, yeah, you can have him.
The one time we did that with Baker Mayfield, and it was Freddie Kitchens.
We did it with Hugh Jackson was the guy, and we went 1-31.
I don't know. I have a feel. I almost want to see who they would pick because in my mind, I remember thinking Stefanski was all right. Like I didn't mind that one, but I remember Hugh and I remember Kitchens, and I was like, what are we doing? Like those are just total whiffs. Like I don't think anybody even was like, yeah, that's a good one. In my mind, like they're going to pick up like an Aaron Glenn. And I'm just going to be like, Aaron Glenn wasn't even wanted I think he was one of the last hired last year. I thought it was, or the Jets did the opposite and picked someone that nobody wanted. And I'm like, all right, well.
So the 3 names that I've seen so far, well, technically 4 because everybody reached out to Harbaugh, but was Jim Schwartz, Tommy Rees, and Todd Monken were the 3 that I heard. Yeah. I get it, and they're interviewing their coordinators because that's a
Schwartz may
respectable
not be
thing to
the
do.
Worst though, he may not be the worst if that dude can find an offensive because he's already proven that like he's the best part of like the Cleveland Browns right now, and he's already dealing with the Haslams and he's already dealing with whoever. I have a huge Texas best friend from high school, and he sent me a long conspiracy theory about how you guys aren't going to pick a quarterback this year because Arch Manning has massive ties to Jimmy Haslam. So I'll let that stew for a minute.
So I've heard that exact same thing about the Tennessee Titans.
What? Cam Moore is there.
Oh, no, I was a New York Giants. That's what I meant.
Oh.
I heard the exact same thing, though. But real quick, so in terms of like defensive coordinators and just showing up, so like 3 of the best teams this year, that kind of came up and weren't really expected, but Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, and I'm putting the Denver Broncos in there. Those were, defensive-minded head coaches, Vrabel being newer, McDonald being newer as well. And really just that, I think when I think defensive coaches, like you have to be more of that.
Sean Payton is an offensive mind.
He is.
Yeah, I just really like Vance Joseph.
Joseph is the guy that was there though that came back, that he brought him back.
Yeah,
and
I like their defense. Yeah,
I have a crazy defense. So,
but when I think of like the defensive people, I think like those are the culture guys. Those are those more like rah-rah, and you got to put them with that offensive mind. But Phil actually made this point when we were talking about it at some point. But if you get a good offensive coordinator to go with a defensive-minded head coach, he's gone. That's just it. I mean, you can have him for 2 years, maybe, but you can't have a successful offense for 2 years and keep an offensive coordinator if he's not the head coach. And it's really hard to build a good culture with that type of turnover.
Go ahead, Phil. You've been waiting patiently.
That was his point. I'm curious to see what Connor's was.
It was beautiful.
That was your statement.
That was
your think piece.
That is me looking at Schwartz and everyone being like, dude, we gotta get the Browns to stabilize. We got to get Schwartz in there, got to get a good OC. And I think if we put it together, it's all going to work out. And I'm like, guys, Schwartz is the guy that got shredded by rookie CJ Stroud in the playoffs when we had the best defense and their offense was a joke, right? They were a fun spot.
Let me ask you this then. Would you take perpetually winning and making the playoffs and making it the AFC Championship?
Here we go again with this.
No, I got this.
Or would you rather take, and so basically a defensive head coach with an offensive coordinator for a couple of years? Or would you rather just wait it out, crappy until you just luck into an offensive guy?
Would rather have Zach Taylor and the chance to win a Super Bowl one time than be Mike Tomlin and 9-8. I don't care about I'm talking about the time he doesn't have Ben Roethlisberger. I don't want 10 years of 9-8. I want the one Hail Mary at the Super Bowl. And also Zach Taylor should have been fired 5 times by now.
I agree, but I would say I would like that, maybe. But in what universe since 1999 have the Browns had the offensive guy that would even be sniffing close to that? Because they haven't gotten the quarterback right.
Ooh, since 1999, we had a young fellow by the name of Kyle Shanahan lead Josh Gordon to an 1,800-yard season or so.
Is that like wins? Do those count as wins? Is that like 1,800?
We won. I think we won.
1,800 half wins.
Did we win 7 games? Or we might have won. Well, we were 3-0 with Brian Hoyer that year, and then we went 4-12.
You went to the playoffs with Baker Mayfield, and before that, you went with Kelly Holcomb. Does that sound right? Does that name ring a bell?
Kelly Holcomb, baby.
Kelly Holcomb.
Competition with Tim Couch.
3.
Yep.
So him and Tim Couch.
And you have been perpetually terrible since. But would you? So you're telling me you would not take, like, to Ken's point, promote Jim Schwartz, go pick up somehow you magically got Clay Kubiak's cousin.
Clint Kubiak.
And you got Clint Kubiak, and you said for 2 years we're going to be good. We're going to go 9-8. We're going to go 12-4, and you're going to win 2 games, and you're going to follow the Detroit Lions for 2 years. You're telling me, because like Ken said, 2 years after that, Krusty Kubiak is going to be gone. So you're telling me, and then you fall back to 9-8. You're telling me you would not take that.
Those numbers aren't right for the Browns.
The Browns fans in general, I am telling you right now, will not settle for the third 9-8. The coach will be gone.
And you're not talking about 9-8 that year for the Browns. You're talking 5-12. I'm just letting you know how.
Like, look what we did with Stefanski. Like, legitimately,
I would actually. You're talking about defensive guys and finding someone to go, quote unquote, put that, instill that. I actually would not mind a defensive coach in Cleveland. So Saleh.
That's so funny.
I'm
the exact opposite.
Saleh went to, because he's not going to have a quarterback next year anyways. We just said that. He's going to putz around with Deshaun Watson, the ghost of Deshaun Touchy. Shadur show my wrist after I got 4th and 10. I took a 3rd and 12 and made it 4th and 6th. Congratulations. Or a tiny man who is a lefty from Hawaii who doesn't even know like how to deal with the cold. So in my mind, next season's lost. I would rather put in somebody who's a defensive coordinator and then get a guy who shows like maybe you go 6 and 10. And you get a guy, you luck into a Kellen Moore type of prodigal son or something like that.
So what you're telling me is we are taking, like, we're going after the coaching crop 2 years from now, because whoever's in is not going to win next year, right?
You got to go find a coordinator that shows life that can say, for example, Kellen Moore. We just talked about this. Kellen Moore, with the situation he was in, nobody expected him to go 6-11, and he made Tyler. They're going to forgo the draft this year for a quarterback for Tyler Shuck, who's going to be 27, who's Brandon Weeden. You guys know that guy? Brandon Weeden.
We know.
Stop. No. He is not Brandon Weeden. I'm sorry. He showed more in his rookie year than Brandon Weeden showed in his whole career. You cannot compare the two.
So they're good at the offensive guy did what the offensive guy should do. You guys have to have somebody that shows life in the first year, and then you go get the quarterback.
I'm letting you know that it doesn't matter.
The biggest flaw that you have there, Connor,
in logical thinking,
is that you keep saying that we're going to get Clint Kubiak or Kellen Moore. We're not. We're the Browns. Like, there's no desirable position. If you think you're a head coaching candidate, you're not taking an offensive coordinator position with the Browns. You're not. And there's too many, like the young, like McVay or the guy in Jacksonville.
Who do you guys want to see in Cleveland then? We open this can right now.
I want to see. I've been trying really hard not to talk about Cleveland because you guys wrecked me for it last week. Unfortunately, I got the list of who I don't want to see in Cleveland, and that's McCarthy, Daboll. I don't want Vance Joseph. Honestly, it's Clint Kubiak. That's who I would like to see, but I'm not going to get him. You're not going to get him.
All right, so
Who's there? John Harbaugh. Got it.
Yeah,
like
Harbaugh would love it.
legitimately.
Win division.
Oh my god! So I just I went to reliable old Chat GPT. I wanted like offensive play callers, and they're like Joe Brady, Todd Monken, Clint Kubiak, Mike LaFleur, Cliff Kingsbury, and I am just like so disappointed.
The only one that was even remotely good on that was Kubiak. I hate Joe
right.
Brady.
You know who I can see? I hate it, but I could see Cliff Kingsbury ending up here. I know, right? I could see it though.
I'll tell you what I would want: Bobby Slovic, the guy who ripped us in the
I
Texans.
would not mind Bobby Slowick getting.
I want him to be the OC if in
I
your
would take him as the
situation.
OC.
He is not good enough to be a head coach. He needs to re-earn the OC badge. But if we go and we get a DC or a DC head coach,
What's he doing right now?
Texans offensive staff is definitely not it, according to ChatGPT.
No, he got
No,
fired.
he got replaced. He got replaced by somebody else who
He
I
went
don't
from
think is
head
very
coaching
good.
candidate to
Zach
fired.
Stevenson, I think, or was that the Atlanta head or OC?
Passing game coordinator for the Dolphins, current job.
It's not great, but he also has
Hey,
two.
tell you what, our cousin said Quinn Ewers looked, he looked really respectable.
Respectable.
He's a Dolphins fan.
He was like, nah, he is middle of the road. But I actually wouldn't mind that because I hated that they fired him and they went. And I think they've regressed as an offense since they brought it.
They've made big mistake. I think they would be a much better team with him.
I saw that Greg Cosell for the breakdown of Stroud in his rookie year was running the Shanahan or the McVay offense, and he was way better. I think it was the Shanahan offense.
It's Shanahan.
But he was in the Shanahan tree was way better than the McVay tree. And so I think that's not bad. I think if you go with Schwartz, you go get Slowick and say, try again, buddy.
I will say I don't think teams would ever do this, but I think they should. Schwartz, you have 2 years to be head coach. I probably wouldn't say this publicly to him, but I'd be like, Bobby Slowick, if you're good at your job for 2 years, we'll fire Schwartz and we'll promote you year 3 and like lock in the OC to conversion to head coach.
Don't convert him. Just say
I don't think that happens that much.
No one ever does it because the only way to do it is if your offensive coordinator is successful and you've won 10 or 11 games. You don't fire the coach, but I think more teams should. Like Harbaugh should have been fired for Mike McDonald. Yeah, 100%. You should have given up your great coach for the next great coach, but no one will ever do it.
Nobody will ever go.
You guys are just assuming that the next guy is going to be great, and everybody thinks their next head coach.
I just said, if you tell Bobby Slowick when you bring him as OC, if you have 2 years of success, we will make you head coach in year 3. That way you don't lose him.
McDonald thing, but like, it's like hitting the lottery, and you guys are like, well, we'll just hit the lottery with this offensive coordinator, and we're not going to. Number one, we're the Browns.
We'll ruin him no matter what.
Number two, I mean, how many times the teams get new offensive coordinators and it just doesn't pan out? I mean, it's all the time. So,
the way to be
it's
Debbie
not a
Downer.
guarantee.
You know what, Ken? Talk about the Cardinals. We're tired of you being all sad and depressed.
Dude, the Cardinals have a great offense. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You see Jacoby Brissett out there?
Oh, yes.
Me actually think like it's not a crazy thought that Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Wilson are actually a decent receiving core. It's not like a crazy thought. What's your stat
for you? The Cardinals ended 0-9. They were on a 9-game losing streak. Jacoby Brissett had like I don't remember it was a respectable QBR, and they still were minus 142 in points differential.
Well,
in that 9-game
streak, play defense. Teams usually would. But they had no running backs. They had their top 3 guys at like tornado sales. They're just grabbing people off of practice squads to be their running backs and never had an offensive line. I mean, it just really showed that like, Kyler Murray just was incapable of like running that offense. And
yeah, thank God we don't have to deal with Drew Petzing anymore. Good Lord. Hey, you know where he should go? The Browns. Browns could pick up.
Ken, if we're going to be sad anyway, let's go get a sad coordinator.
I honestly don't think that like not the coordinator, but getting Kyler Murray for the Browns is like not the worst. Like I think that Kyler Murray is realistically more of a bridge quarterback than anything. But get a guy that can run around because you don't have a line. So at least get someone who can run away.
Ken's out here spending $80 million on his quarterback and says, "Let's throw another 40."
Dude, this is what's
don't
crazy.
Pay the guy.
This is what's crazy, man. Like I think Kyler ends up in Miami, but I think he could end up in Miami. As crazy as it's at home.
You're right, because there's
two need a shrink ray.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're already both like top 50 on the or top 10 on the cap hit for next year. Let's just double down, man.
Double down, Brennan. And you know what? After that, might as well go get Bryce Young.
Send Tua out there. Send Tua to the Cardinals. Let him be a bridge for Dante Moore. There you go.
All right. So
I don't even know who would want to go to the Cardinals. Honestly, I have no idea.
I think I ranked the Cardinals as the worst team to be a fan base of when we started the season. Probably no one remembers that. And I think there's just all chaos, and they were, sitting on good players this whole time, and we didn't even get to see it until everything went to the crap at the end of the year, and they started actually throwing the ball to their players. Like Marv looked really good in the half a game he played against the Cowboys. He had like 6 catches for 90 yards or something.
And then after that, he got usurped by Michael Wilson.
Michael the Goat Wilson.
Michael the Goat. Michael Julio Jones. I don't know, man. It's just a weird. That's such a weird like organization. Like it's not even like the worst organization. Worst organization is like the Jets, but like they're not even like in terms of like football operations. Like they could be okay. Like
they take good things and they're like, hey guys, look how good this could be, and we made it terrible.
Yeah, I don't know how to. It's not like the Jets who are like, this is terrible, we're gonna make it worse. They're like, we have good things, and then we're gonna make it worse. So at least it starts out with hope. I don't know. It's weird.
They had those like Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, they had those years.
So like
they had those years. Carson Palmer, Cincinnati Bengals, great Carson Palmer.
I had them like ranking the positions, and it was by far, because the Browns at least are like, hey, you have really good players on defense, and Cardinals are like, you got maybe a good receiving core that's probably not that good. That's all you have.
You got a decent 1 and 2. You got an all-world tight end. Good luck,
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, you're basically the Raiders without cap space. Good luck.
All right, let's put a cherry on top after 1 hour of all this. Harbaugh, where's he going, Connor? He picks his job, so it's his preference, in my opinion.
I think Arthur Blank is going to try and make a hard run at it. I think he's going to go to the Falcons.
You think he's just going to throw those billions of dollars just at him there?
It's like not even like that much to him. So, yeah.
So, I don't know if this might be a cop-out, but like, I really think that it's either nothing this year and wait for something, or somebody like random, like a playoff team does fire somebody. Like, I don't know, Packers would definitely be an interesting one. Ironic how funny it would be if it was the Chargers. But
no, Mike Minter is going to go. That's where, guys, we just figured it out.
No,
Mike Minter is like supposedly the top coaching candidate for
Minter's
a lot
a good
of these
candidate.
jobs. He's going to leave the LA Chargers. Jim's going to hire his brother, John Harbaugh, defensive coordinator.
No
Guys,
chance.
we just solved it.
Dude, I would not want Harbaugh. Like, I don't want either of them coaching my defense. Like,
Connor, do you have a brother?
Do you have a brother? I have 3 brothers.
You have 3 brothers? Yeah. Which one would you want to coach a football team with? I mean, nothing but fights.
The only one that would hire me would be the one that I would probably hate and punch in the mouth.
There you go. No, nobody's hiring their brother to coach a team with them.
You don't know that. They love each other. You don't know.
No, they don't.
He beat him in the Super Bowl. He doesn't love him that much.
Sure. Guys, we just made the NFL's headlines for next year.
There we go. All right.
You better put that as
Connor's
our
pick
thumbnail.
is Harbaugh is going to the Chargers. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this and say brotherly love. Here we go. And what are your thoughts?
Where he's going? Or
Yeah, Harbaugh.
Wild card, or he's sitting out a year?
I got Giants. I think he's a good media face and culture builder, and I think they got it. I think
you're thinking too highly off of like number one. They had I hate to say it, Cam Scatterby was a replaceable running back at this point. I mean, he completely destroyed his ankle, and he wasn't an elite athlete before. I love the guy, but man, no chance. And then having a receiver coming off of another awful injury. You have Jackson Dart and not much else. I don't see that as a desirable roster to go to.
I think he goes for like the storied franchise of the Giants, and also to get some credit of like, hey, my brother went to the Chargers and they constantly looked like they were in turmoil. He came in and they instantly cleaned it up and were good. I need, mom and dad's love too. I gotta clean up an organization.
They also had Justin Herbert. Let's just,
Yeah,
keep
you
that on
forgot
the
that
DL.
part.
Dude, you guys,
And also,
Jackson
it
Dart,
doesn't
man.
matter. Mom and dad will be happy next year. The kids are back in town.
By the way,
All right.
Jackson Dart wasn't as popular as Rookie of the Year candidate as Tyler Shuck. Just to let you
Yeah.
know.
Tyler Shuck went on like a 5-game win streak to end the year or something
Dude,
ridiculous.
I did some mudslinging on Chuck, but like he might be a serviceable quarterback, but that you just don't want serviceable in the NFL, right? You want like all pro. So the days of serviceable are the Tuas of the world. So like
I feel like I'm the only one watching Jackson Dart put up 30 on the Broncos defense and loving every moment of it.
Are you talking about 30 like fantasy points? Is that what you're talking
that
about?
too. But he put up like 21 points in like 6 minutes or something ridiculous. It was insane.
But that's backyard football doesn't work over the long haul.
I love Dart. I'm super biased. I think he's going to be really good.
Okay,
that's the problem. That's the disconnect.
I think
here.
he could be, but the guy has also been evaluated for 20 concussions in 6 games.
How many concussions did he give?
All right. Okay, if Harbaugh saw Atlanta and saw Penix as like an actual franchise quarterback, if he saw that, I think that's. I mean, it's not even close to it.
Penix without a torn ACL is the spot for sure. Like that's the best job.
I think they restructured some of Cousins.
See, I'm not.
Years.
I'm
they're
not
going to
as
get rid of
concerned.
him. I honestly, I'm serious. I'm so serious on this. You go out and get a cheap bridge like a Brissett or like a Malik Willis, and you put him there and say Harbaugh gets his chance because he gets 2 at least options before having to draft another one because they can't this year anyways. Put him there and then say put in somebody who is hopefully better than Zach Stevenson for the freaking Atlanta Falcons and just let the dudes play. Kyle Pitts, the ghost of Kyle Pitts. What happened? Dude went ballistic against me in the first round of the playoffs and then disappeared. So that was great.
Hey, this was his best year as a pro.
It was.
Okay. I can't believe I am so sorry we did not mention this guy for enough jobs. Brian Flores.
So I have him here as one of my like top guys. By the way, I just love that defense. I mean, I think that there's just a lot of good players that are playing great on it. And they had a winning record with, nothing positive at the quarterback position. Sorry, Mike Shilley, I know that's your team. I know that's Mike or JJ's your guy, but man, looks like McCarthy, not Jefferson. But is Flores just blackballed from being a head coach? Because if you guys
the Vikings said they're trying to make him the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. They're trying to. I mean, I don't know if that does anything, but
yeah, I think that he has just so much bad publicity from his only other head coaching stint that
wasn't wrong about Tua, just early. It's true.
So
though.
I don't know, that part's tough. But I would love him in Cleveland.
He is one of the defensive coordinators. I was mad when he got kicked out of Miami for going 7-9 and not tanking. Like
he went 9-7, I think. I thought he went.
No. I'm thinking his very first year, they lost like 56-0 week 1 against the Ravens. And I remember because like they were the biggest joke of an NFL team. And then they won 7 games out of nowhere. I need to look up that year.
They missed the playoffs at 9-7. And
then he got fired.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he refused to tank and he refused to be nice to
Was he the one that kept subbing Tua for Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Which is like my favorite part of
when he would bench Ryan
right.
Fitzpatrick. He would bench Tua mid-game and then they come back and win with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. God, I loved it. Give me that guy.
Yes.
Man.
So their first
give him Myles Garrett.
The first 4 games he coached, here's the first 4 scores. 10-59 against the Ravens, 0-43 against the Patriots, 6-31 Cowboys, 10-30 Chargers. They get the bye week. After the bye week, they go 5-7 to end the year. I feel like that's a bit of a miracle to go from the league's worst point differential in 4 games to 5-7.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I just think he runs like the opposite of what Mitchell Schwartz runs in terms of defenses, where it's like, hey, we're just going to have really good players and we're going to get a pass rush this way. And he's just like, I'm going to confuse the hell out of young quarterbacks and, even old quarterbacks too. Why not?
I'm going to blitz 50% of the time, every time.
I don't know.
All right. Anyways, I love if I'm picking a coordinator to be, he's probably my number 1 guy to pick. Like, I forgot about him pre-show, and I was dissing DCs, but I really think he actually has proven good experience as a coach. His defense is fantastic, and it started off really when he took the Vikings job, they didn't have a defense, they didn't have players, and he shot them up to like relevant defense, and then got real players. And now they're awesome. So I'm 100%. I think Brian Flores is the best candidate out there. He's a guy though that has that kind of upside where it's
Yeah. If we're gonna lump people in with that, what do you think about Steve Spagnuolo? Like, I think you're just like, hey, I got a cush job here in Kansas City, and I'm not gonna separate
don't
myself
think-
from this. But I mean, that defense really, kept them in a lot of games this year. I don't know. I think he's good.
I never thought of him as like a top tier coordinator. I think he's a really, really good coordinator, but I feel like he's just a guy that gambles a lot. And for a while, he had Patrick Mahomes to, save the day if it didn't work. And then he had really good players for a couple years. So when he was gambling, he had star corners locking people up.
Yeah, but then when their offense stalled and they're like, we need to just have an elite shutdown defense, I don't know. It worked out for them too.
Like I said, I think he's good, but I think he's old. I don't think he's creative, and I don't think he. I think he runs a good defense. I wouldn't want him as my head coach.
Okay,
Connor, it looks like your time is running.
Spags.
I'm getting
You can go whenever you like.
Spags. I just don't know if he wants to.
Yeah,
I just don't know if he has the desire to. I think for some reason I was thinking like people had tried to, and he kind of was like, not really interested. I don't say tank the interviews, or if he did have an interview, it was like they couldn't tell if he was like that interested. So in my mind, I don't know if Spags gets I don't know if he has a desire to.
I don't know. It's been a while, but I know that I can't quite remember, but I am pretty sure his like head coaching experience was just complete trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like horrible, like get him out of here quickly.
If you need a defensive coordinator as a team this year, though, most of the ex-head coaches are defensive guys. Gannon, Harbaugh, who else is out there? I'm trying to think. Those two. Oh, who else just got fired? You could say Pete Carroll was kind of a defensive guy, but
get Brian Callahan. Don't touch Brian Callahan. I think he's not
nobody wants him anyways. So
Brian Dable. I want Brian Dable as an OC. I don't want him as my head coach at the moment. I think he's a good head coach, but he needs to go back to OC for a minute.
Dable's going to the Buckeyes. That's who we want. We're going to pay him a boatload of money.
All right. I know we're way over, but what do you guys think of Stefanski? Like the first thing, as soon as he's fired, they're like, he's going to be a very popular coach. And then, you see Harbaugh and everyone forgets about that guy.
I think Stefanski is going to be some team's number one choice. Like there's 7 available at the moment. I think maybe 1 or 2 will think of him as the number one choice, and they're going to scoop him up right away. Who it is, I don't know, but I think there's going to be teams that are like infatuated with his offensive, like the fact that he's an offensive guy relative to Harbaugh.
It's just so interesting to hear you guys be so biased for anybody who is relatively good for the Browns, because I never thought Stefanski was good, even when he had Baker. Baker was the one season I was like, all right, he might be okay. Every other time, I'm just like,
have you seen Shedeur Sanders' quarter splits? No. In the first quarter, when the game is schemed, Shedeur Sanders has a 120 quarterback rating. The next 3 quarters, he's under 90. He has the third quarter, he has like a 15. He is so bad when the game is not the scripted plays.
Second half of the quarter or second half of the games, he's like a 0 QB.
Yeah. Greg Cosell came on and he's like, he only throws to people he knows are wide open. And in the first half, like the plays work because they were schemed and ready to go. And like the second half, you have to do some reads and stuff. It just doesn't work. But so that's why I'm like, everyone loved Shedeur. Everyone hated Stefanski in Cleveland. I'm like, guys, his scheme might be the reason Shedeur had some of these really good plays.
It was never just Shedeur. He's just our team. We were one of the best first series teams or offensive teams. We just always. It's the Browns, so we get a field goal instead of a touchdown. Mm-hmm. We scored a lot more on our first drives, than, any of our other ones. That's for sure.
That's fair.
So I think he's a good offensive mind. I think he was really lacking that intensity, that leader of man type of
I did see
thing.
Somebody though that, because again, that guy who is a huge Texas fan, ironically, his 2 favorite teams are the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns because his dad's a Browns fan. And so he was always like, we're going to keep Shedeur out there. He's going to keep the number 1 pick in 27 intact. That's all we want, baby. But here's the other thing. He did say something like, he was like, Shedeur, he saw a bunch of people that were just like, look, these QB gurus have been watching Shedeur's film. I saw one guy was like, I've watched the last 6 games. And let me tell you guys, it's very positive. positive for 27 because some of this film is some of the worst I have ever seen. It is so bad. I'm like, well, you're probably not watching.
Let me tell you,
number 9.
if you're in a Browns group chat, you don't know what you're talking about. Those third quarter, when he breaks out of 2 sacks to get hit by the third guy, that's what we love.
I would love to see some splits. I'd love to see some actual film breakdown on Shador because it doesn't look.
I don't think you would.
I mean, it's got to be worse on the all 22 view.
I don't know.
There were 0 sustainable drives. I mean, there's not a lot of film because it's a lot of 3 and outs. It's a lot of holding on to the ball.
Hey,
and then
he
did
hit the 50-yard pass.
Yeah, and then
50-yard on the run bomb versus the Lions.
he did hit like 3 screens that went for like 40 plus.
Him and Caleb, baby. Dude, all right. So the last thing, because this is funny, because I just think that in 3 years, I can't wait for him to retire and go be a rapper and blame it on the Browns that his career sucked. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be him and his dad are gonna
Johnny Manziel did that
all of
exact same thing.
Yeah,
Skip the rapper
playbook's out
part.
there. The playbook is out there. And
But
it's
Odell
gonna
Beckham
happen.
Jr. is going to, Deion's going to send a video of how open his son was.
100%. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
All right, Connor, last thing to end on. Deion Sanders, head coach to the Browns. Breaking news.
Unreal. Get over yourself. Daddy is going to get broken in half. Did you see his college? Do you guys have any idea what his Colorado record this year was? It's like 3-10, 4-10. Yeah. And
I saw
by
that
the
they
way,
had a few primetime games, and I turned it on, and it was horrible. It was like 30 to like 10.
awful.
Yeah, it was
Just
horrible.
awful. And Daddy's got his name up in the rafters for Colorado for 1 year of that. How crazy. They made him like a top 10. I think he's a top 6 head coaching, highest paid head coach. In what universe, man? In what universe?
I will say a
The
lot
biggest fleece of all time. The biggest fleece of all time for a
Not
university.
really, because Colorado's made a lot more money because of him. Even if they suck, they make more money.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. He made his money. The ROI is good.
Yeah.
they do get decent recruits, or a few more decent recruits, because people do want to play for him.
Everyone's in the transfer portal nowadays. It's insane. Every year it's just absolutely insane. So many people.
The transfer portal's almost a joke. I mean, it's honestly it was a
It
bigger.
needs to be policed, but it won't. The NCAA is a joke. So
Get
it's
out of here,
bigger.
Connor.
It's actually bigger news than the tournament. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
yeah, we could talk about that. I know a lot more about that one than probably the NFL.
I told
I
you
know
everything
more
I know
players-
about college football just now.
Can Connor match more players where they went to and from in the transfer portal or NFL teams to conferences?
Probably pretty close. Nah, I got way more in transfer portal. So see you
I'll
guys.
see you. All right, we are way over time. I'm willing to talk about some of the playoff games, though. Still, if you are.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, there we go. Connor's out. Now you
No,
get.
actually leave. Like Connor,
Yes.
I'm ready to. Maybe I'll get a word in now.
There you go. I saw it like 3 or 4 times you wanted to go, and it's just like,
Yeah. Connor just gets going, man.
he gets heated, man. He brings the spice to this. All right. So 7 games this weekend. We talked about teams we liked last week, and someone gave the dreadful take that the best unit of any team in the NFL is the 49ers offense. And I mean that when it's healthy. Trent Williams is a key part of that, and he did not play last week. And Ricky Pearsall, I love him, but he's not that big of a difference maker. They need Trent Williams, though. They need their left tackle, and you could tell.
So I agree. Definitely last week, one point that game, the deciding number 1 seed game was down to Christian McCaffrey is on the goal line, and he just handed the ball to a defender. He just bobbled it, and the guy didn't even know he had it before. I mean, he realized that it was an interception. But they were down 10-3. That was going into, it was going in. I mean, really well. Could have been 10-10 tie, give Darnold the ball. And that very next series, it was 3rd and 17, and Kenneth Walker got a 19-yard run, which is just absolutely insane.
I love the Twitter clip of John Lynch losing his mind. He's like, dude,
That was
I'm like
hilarious.
60, and I would have killed it. I would have stopped the play for sure.
But point being, like that game, I mean, it was ugly, and I think that was more of a, hey, Seattle wasn't as good as we thought. Both the Seattle team and then the 49ers offense. So it really, I mean, it wasn't that crazy to be like, oh, 49ers could have been the 1 seed. Now you look at them, and they have like the third or fourth worst rankings to make it into the or to win the Super Bowl.
So
I sent it to the chat because honestly,
I
Anthony
will
was saying
say,
some dumb stuff.
I will say, I think the biggest problem is they have the hardest path, in my opinion, of any team, and the Eagles. Right? They start off with a tough game in round one, and no other NFC team has a tough matchup to win. Packers,
Mhm.
Bears, and like I think the Packers are way better than the Bears. I think the Packers are going to win that. Rams, Panthers, like Rams, just don't shoot yourself in the foot again.
Mhm.
But then after that, Eagles, Niners have to go on the road to tough teams, Seahawks, or even play the Rams. Like you just have to play the most wins to get out of where you are, and it just sucks for them that that's the way it worked out. But win more
Mhm.
games.
Yeah, in the NFC, I really think that you have the Panthers, the Packers, and the Bears, and I just don't think any of them have a chance. Sorry, like there's just too many holes, different places. I love what Ben Johnson's done, but I mean, as you heard earlier, I just do not believe in Caleb Williams, and at some point that he's gonna just let you down.
I
You're
really wish the Packers and the Bears didn't play each other in the first round.
exactly. So yeah, that part's tough. But the Eagles, going back to it, like they really have shown so little on offense. They've had such a negative offense. I know their defense has been good, but for them to go from, hey, we're just hanging around and gonna sneak into the playoffs, we're in a bad division, to we are one of the was it their fourth highest Super Bowl odds right now at plus 850. And it's like I just don't see it. And the 49ers, that line has started at what, plus 2.5 this week, and it's all the way up to like plus 5. And nobody believes in them. So I don't know. I'm on that other side. I think the 49ers are going to sneak an upset this week.
Yeah. The problem is it's just like it's so hard to say like I want to bet against the Eagles, but there's every world where it's like, guys, we threw the ball to AJ Brown 10 times in the first half and he has 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like we kind of figured this thing out, or we just saw Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet eat the 49ers defense alive. We're going to give the ball to Saquon and he's just going to run through it. But also, even when the Eagles do the stuff that should be productive, it doesn't work because it's so badly schemed and it's so like obvious what they do. So I'll probably be betting Niners plus 4.5 just because it's such a big number. But it's so hard for me to pick against the Eagles. I don't know.
And I mean, Jalen Hurts can just be like, oh, hey, guys, remember how I can run really well and I haven't done it all year. And now, I mean, if they just have Saquon and Jalen Hurts just running like on a defense that does not have Fred Warner and could really, really use that. And then who is that? They have is it Bethune or I don't know
Yeah.
how to say his name. Yeah, he's hurt now too. It's like, Jesus, can anyone just stay healthy on this team?
49ers Eagles. I think we covered our takes. I think it's definitely the game I actually want to watch the most probably this weekend because that I think either of these two, whoever wins, I think can go on a run. I could see them making NFC Championship easily, beating the Rams or the Seahawks, however matchups line up. But I could also see like either of these teams losing at 30-0. It's just I don't. I've never seen such a wide range of outcomes for two teams, and that's because the 49ers don't have a defense. The Eagles, they technically don't have an offense most of the game, but then the things they do, like they do better than nearly anyone in the league.
I guess, that whole like Robert Saleh is a head coach candidate. And well, by the way, he has an awful defense. He has the worst defense in the playoffs and one of the worst defenses in the NFC, actually.
It's so funny because like they are terrible, but they do things right. Like, and that's not, that's a really funny sentence, but they had good situational plays against the Seahawks. Like I think the very first drive or second drive, the Seahawks moved all the way down the field and they had a goal line stop. They play well on third down, they play well on fourth down, and they play well in the red zone, like much better than their ranks would indicate. Like they're still the 12th ranked red zone defense, top 20 in third and fourth down, despite being like 30th in yards per drive allowed. So they let people do what they want, but when the stakes are up, they make a good play. So that's why I like
And
Salah still.
yeah. And one thing that's kind of missing, and I think that people are like, oh, they couldn't score on the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of teams can't score on the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks defense, I mean, it's right up there with one of the best groups in the playoffs right now. So I do not think that the Eagles defense is as good as, or even in the same weight class as the Seattle defense. And the Eagles defense has looked really bad. I mean, the Bears made it look like a laughing stock when they just ground and pound, and not that the 49ers can necessarily do that, but it's like, hey, we're just going to take advantage of what Christian McCaffrey can do and just get him in space. And I think that that's something that could actually happen.
Yeah, I think the Bills would have looked a lot better against them too if it wasn't in the hurricane game. I know it was an actual hurricane. It was a big rainstorm though.
I also think that was too where like neither of those teams were pretty much already set. And it's sad that it
That's
was
true.
2 weeks before and Josh Allen was hurt and they're like, hey, don't get more hurt. And I think that that's really what that game was more than anything.
Still came down to a wide open incomplete pass by Josh Allen. Very disappointing.
By the way, that exact same argument that we just made, can we make it for the Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars? Because it's the exact same like game, NFC to AFC, where hey, these are two teams. I'm really mad that they have to play each other in the first round. Both of them could make a run if they win, and I think the wrong team's favored.
Yeah. All right. I'm 100% in. I would really love like Jags Patriots and Bills Chargers games, or flip that around however you want. Bills versus Patriots, Jags versus Chargers. Because I would 100% be picking the Bills and the Jags to win both of those games.
Yep, absolutely.
In the AFC, this is definitely the number 2 game to watch of the weekend, right? Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. You know Trevor Lawrence is going to make a bunch of mistakes, and you know Josh Allen's probably going to be down 21-0 and trying to come back again, like he did versus the Patriots, and then almost versus the Eagles. So, just because I sent you the message and it's blowing my mind, Brandon Cooks, he was definitely their number 1 receiver against the Eagles. There was healthy scratches on Keon Coleman and Gabe Davis. And Brandon Cooks is currently being priced like the 5th receiver on the Bills. He played 50% of snaps in that game. I have a good amount of bonus bets. Brandon Cooks like 70 plus yards is going to be like my big bet this weekend because it's like plus 1,000. Oh,
what I do when Phil tells me this is I do the same thing, but I just do like plus 40.
There was way too many weeks where Ken was right and I was wrong. RJ Harvey, that one burns still. He ended with 59 and I had a 60 plus on him.
And I said, hey, plus 50 sounds great. But, Keon Coleman and Gabe Davis were playing with Mitch Trubisky last week. They were playing in that game. No.
And their odds are way above his. Like it.
And I hate to say, but Brandon Cooks is just better.
Yeah.
He's a good receiver.
And like when they needed offense, their offense was Brandon Cooks run really far and Josh Allen just throw it, and it worked. So I hope we see more of that. All right, I got 49ers plus 4.5. I think you were on the same boat there. All right, Bills versus Jags. We're both going to be on Bills minus 1.5 to win. Is that right?
No, I'm on the Jags.
You said the wrong team was favored, and you're still going to take the Jags.
I was going to do that and tease the Jags up to 7.5. That's what I'm really going to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So betting wise, okay, all right. Yes, that's just a number play. But I just can't bet against Josh Allen. I just can't do it at that number. Yep. Give me extra numbers and I can do it.
I don't believe the Bills can stop the Jags from scoring to make it from 13 to 7.5.
Yep.
All right. Rams versus Panthers. I don't want to talk about this game. We saw it once, and the Panthers, I thought, had miracle after miracle after miracle to make it the game that it was. Like, I think there's no world where the Rams in a playoff scenario, playing all their players because Devontae Adams hasn't played in a while, don't win this like 30-0.
I've been saying it since week 6 that I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL, and I'm really just sticking to it at this point. Their defense has definitely looked more susceptible, but I also think that it's going to look better kind of moving forward. They've been pretty much set in the playoffs, and oddly enough, with their tiebreakers, if they weren't after they lost to Seattle, it's like, cool, we're not going to get the 1 seed, so let's just get to the playoffs. So
get Matt Stafford as MVP and burn Phil's Drake May money.
Yep. But I do think the defense is better than what is shown, and I think that they get a nice tune-up game. How weird is it for the Panthers to be like, oh, win and we're in, and then lose? They're like, nah, we're still in. Like getting up for this game.
It's kind of hard to be hyped when it's like we didn't deserve this, but we're here. Bears, Packers, we've insulted this game, and Bears are plus 1.5 at home. I've heard way too many people be like, what are they doing, guys? Like, this Bears team's legitimate. And it's like, we saw 2 games against the Packers, and the Packers won both the games. Like, I feel like they controlled the games too, and it took some big plays by the Bears to come back and win. Jordan Love, you laugh at the charts, but he always breaks the advanced analytics charts this year. And it's because he throws very rarely. But when he did, like the Lions game on Thanksgiving, when he threw like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, it was all dimes. I think the Packers come out and they just beat up the Bears and they shred through them. Like, anything you can do, I can do better. Packers are just going to outscore them. Packers defense without Micah Parsons is painful, but I don't think the Bears offense with Caleb Williams can outscore the Packers offense.
And you mentioned it where it's Jordan Love is top 5 in all of these metrics. And you just don't hear it and you just don't see it because they get 3 yards with Josh Jacobs. It's their favorite thing to do. It's just so, I've never seen such a quiet, like, hey, our quarterback's playing amazing and we just are missing it. But a big thing is they traded Kenny Clark for Micah Parsons, and they were just like, okay, well, we're going to give up some run defense so we can have a very good pass defense. And then he's gone too. And I just think that since he's gotten hurt, the defense is just lacking so much. And at the beginning of the year, remember we were talking how elite this defense is, and then we're like, nah, just kidding. And then now it's like, hey, teams are kind of able to do what they want against us. Like, I could see a pretty boring game of just a whole bunch of DeAndre Swift and Monangai, and just really them controlling the game there, not letting Caleb Williams lose. And it's what they've done all year. So that part's tough. It's not really a game I want to watch. And since that injury to Michael Parsons, I've lost a lot of interest in the Packers. I think they're a good team, and I just don't see them going on a run in the playoffs, really, either of them. So I'm staying away. I'm not. I don't really like either team.
You have to
pick
be
a rough game
because that's what we do.
If I have to pick one, Caleb Williams is gonna mess up somewhere. Give me the Packers.
All right, that's enough agreeing. We got to cut this crap out. I think we're going to agree on this one. Chargers, Patriots. Like, the Chargers are 3.5-point underdogs. And every time I watch them, I just feel like I hope Justin Herbert's going to end okay. I know we've said this a million times. Their defense is really good. But, like, I think the Patriots are really well coached. They play good, clean football. As long as they don't, try to lean on Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson too much, and they let Drake May be MVP. Drake May make some big plays. I think the Patriots are just kind of under the radar coming in because of their, bad strength of schedule. And I think Drake May is underrated because of it. I think this offense is really, really good. But I just think the Chargers are in a bad spot. That's the bottom line.
So wait, are you picking the Chargers or are you picking the Patriots?
I talked myself into the Patriots halfway through that.
That's where you're messing up because I was going to pick the Patriots the whole time. I was like, great, we're going to agree different.
I was hyping it up. I was talking, and then Drake May MVP just got me, swung my vote.
So kind of the opposite. Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, believe it or not, I really don't think that their run game has been that dominant. I know Travion Henderson, he breaks off these crazy 60-yard touchdowns. He's the fastest guy on the field, but he's not own the ball, completely just overpower the other team, regularly get 5-6 yards. He has a lot of negative plays running. And I see where Ramondre Stevenson's still getting touches because of that. Unpopular opinion on the show. I know. I don't tell Connor these things. But the teams that have completely dominated the Chargers are teams that are just, hey, we're going to bully ball you. You don't have an offensive line. We're going to overpower you with our offensive line as well. And you just kind of take away that elite pass defense that the Chargers do have and just really force Herbert to get rid of the ball quickly because he doesn't have an offensive line. I think that Vrabel will be able to mess with him there, but I do not think that that the Patriots are going to just be able to dominate running the ball like other teams have against the Chargers. So, hey, I was going to pick the Patriots, but I'll take some points with the Chargers on this one.
Look at that. We talked ourselves the opposite way in both.
Look at that.
I will say the thing that makes me mad about the Patriots is people are high on their run game. They've had 3 really, really good run games, in my opinion, and they were in the last 4 weeks. And they're not impressive. They beat the Bills, and the Bills, everyone knows that they don't have a run defense.
No.
The Jets, like that's when Travion or Ramondre had another big game. And then lastly, the Dolphins, like Ramondre and Travion ran through that line. But it's like those all teams don't tackle. So they just ended the year. So that's why I don't know. I think their passing game is underrated though. Like
with the MVP.
It sounds stupid with the MVP, but it's like I feel like it's just not respected for like how good Drake May is at stretching the field with like the best deep ball in the NFL.
So this is my opinion on a run game: is a run game has to be able to be consistent. I don't count it Travion as having a good game if he runs each play is 1 yard, 2 yard, 1 yard, 2 yards, for 15 attempts and then a 70-yard touchdown. I think that's good. That lack of consistency, like you need the run game to open up the pass, and it doesn't do that if you are not regularly getting, taking those 1 or 2 yard runs and making them 4 to 6 yard runs regularly. But that's where Josh Jacobs is like just good, and it drives teams nuts. But I think that when you do that, you really can dominate a game in a whole different way.
Yeah, and my hope is that they realize they don't need to dominate. They can't dominate that way, and they start giving the ball to their best players: Stephon Diggs, Drake May. So for the
like Keyshawn Boutte, man. I think he's good.
I think he's good too. But he's a deep threat.
Hunter Henry.
I'm not saying that's Hunter Henry's their middle of the field guy.
Yeah.
I also really like their corners. That's separate, but I think they can match up well with the Chargers. And I think when it comes to the team that doesn't have a pass rush versus the team that doesn't have a line, I'm going to trust the team that doesn't have a pass rush because I've watched the Browns and that story way too many times.
The one thing that this is going to sound ridiculous, but give me your opinion. The Chargers, I'm not as worried about having a couple of good corners because I think the Chargers have 4 good receivers out there.
The Patriots got 3 good corners, and I think they're really good corners.
Okay.
So they got Carlton Davis, Christian
Carlton
Gonzalez,
Davis
and Jonathan Jones. Marcus Jones, there you go.
Marcus Jones?
Yeah.
But between having, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson works well with them.
He's that guy that runs fast and far, and you need that one.
Yeah. And Rondé Gadsden, and Aaron Hampton, like coming out of the backfield, doing like the more like mid-range scenes. Like they just have Harris has looked good too, and I'm missing somebody I think as well.
Probably
no, but point being, I think that they just have so many weapons out there, and Herbert can go through progressions that it's just hard to cover them all.
That's fair. I started off on the Chargers for that reason, but I just talked myself into the Patriots mostly because I think last week I had them as like the team I think is going to win the Super Bowl for some reason. So you got to steer into the things you said. Hope your Drake May MVP bets hit, even though it's like 70-40 they don't. Or 70-30, they don't. Last game, Monday Night Football. I hate that they have a Monday night game. I just think it.
Did you see the stats on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin on Monday night?
No.
He doesn't lose. Or at home on Monday night.
That's so bad for our
something
Texans.
Crazy, like 6-0 or like 10-0 or something absolutely nuts. And they just won in prime time, like the Sunday night, like the last game of the week. This week,
dude,
and I don't care.
So just before we go, that game by Aaron Rodgers, like I think that was his best game in like the last 3 or 4 years. Like just even his last year as a Packer, like that was probably his best performance that we've seen from him in forever. And I know he sucked in the first half, but what he did in the second half without DK and without Darnell Washington, like coming back, scoring on 3 out of 4 drives, 2 touchdowns. Kyle Hamilton did stop him for a while, but him going out opened it up and he took advantage. So
yes,
kudos to Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you for saying that, because Kyle Hamilton is the heart and soul of that team. It used to be Raquan Smith and it's not. Kyle Hamilton is their entire defense, and him coming out it's just like it's like taking away your playmaker, your game changer, and you go from having this defense that really looked much better at the end of the year to a lot more just standard, not, crazy, not so much going on. People are making a whole lot about DK Metcalf, and you guys have told me plenty of times. DK Metcalf, unfortunately, is not that good of a receiver. He should be.
He is not that good. He's a Ravens beater though, because they play man defense, and like there's a reason he had 180 yards and a touchdown or 2 against the Ravens when the first matchup. Like they just said, all right, 1-on-1. Try to guard him, and he's like, guys, I'm literally twice the size of the guy guarding me. It doesn't work. I think the Ravens were just a terrible matchup for the Steelers this year.
I think I think that this is going to be a not not so fun game to watch unless you really like defense, because this Houston defense is just completely on a whole nother level. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have no time whatsoever. You're going to see a lot of checkdowns, and you're going to see a defense that completely stops them. And yes, the Houston Texans have cornerbacks that can absolutely shut down DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf will not be a difference maker on Monday night. And yes, the Steelers defense has looked better. And yes, TJ Watt is back. He has 2 functioning lungs. I'm very happy about that for him. But I think that the Houston offense has just done enough, and the Steelers have looked just bad enough that this is gonna be more of a the Texans are out of the Steelers league. Yes, congrats, Tomlin. You made it to the playoffs. I'm hearing a lot about Aaron Rodgers, just like, hey, this is a guy. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs. And I'm like, that's great. He's on a team that's not good. And he's on an offense that is just not good enough to hang with this Texans defense. This Texans defense is right up there as one of the best groups in the playoffs right now.
100% agree. And I think what the Texans do better than any other team is, hit the quarterback. They have 2 of the best defensive ends in the NFL. And Aaron Rodgers actively looks like a guy who hates getting hit, and he's 42. Like, it's when you watch him play, he's chucking and ducking a couple times. And the Steelers don't have a great offensive line. Even great offensive lines have troubles with the Texans pass rush. I think this is one where it's just like a turnstile, and they're just going to be coming after him. If the run game doesn't get going and the checkdowns to Ken Gainwell don't hit, it's just not going to work out. I think they're going to force the ball out of his hand too soon. And to your point, DK Metcalf's going to be useless then because he doesn't have time to get 10 yards downfield. Now, the biggest problem I have with this game, I wanted to bet Texans like -9.5, get some extra push on it.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
I would say now the problem is the Texans might win this game 3-0. I cannot. I'm taking the Texans -3 is such a good line for this game, and it pisses me off because like I wanted to bet them. If it was under 3, I would hammer it. I might actually move over to the money line and just be like, I know they're going to win. I'm confident they're going to win. And it just sucks that it has to be -3.
Do you ever think about just betting down like a little bit and doing like a -2.5?
Honestly, that's probably really
because
smart.
that's what I do. And I'll tell you, a lot of times it doesn't work. I'm definitely doing it this way.
I always go the other way where it's like I try to get an extra point or 2. It's -3, but I think I can get -3.5 instead of -4.
No, okay, as coming from a guy who Kenneth Gainwell completely, like if there's one person who destroyed me in every fantasy football league, it was Kenneth Gainwell. That guy is not going to beat the Houston Texans defense. I don't see any scenario there. He's going to get 8 catches. He might get 8 catches for 30 yards.
Oh man, my favorite text of last week was when I think Gainwell had 6 catches on 2 drives. Just set it out. Saquon or Gainwell, who do you guys want?
Connor's like, hey man, what are some props you guys like for this? And I'm like, my first thing is Gainwell +5.
Yeah,
5 over receptions. And he's like, over 5? Are you crazy? And Phil's just like, absolutely.
100%. There's not another receiving option on that field. Anyways, all right. So that is it. We talked about coaches way too long. We talked about games way too long. Man, almost 2 hours. This will be the longest we've ever done. Great work on this, Ken.
Yeah. By the way, the whole lack of having any type of a plan and then just going in the circle of head coach to team, the head coach to team, the head coach to team went well.
I'm sure
it's not pissing me off at all. Don't worry.
I'm sure it's going to sound great and no one's going to get confused while they listen to it.
Yeah. Guys, we have a JJ Watt rookie.
No one's here. No one's here. I'm not here right now. Thanks for listening. All right.